And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your break. And yes, we're too far ahead of our schedule. We're 30 minutes in. We're 30 minutes too fast, and that's the reason why the teams aren't ready yet. But that means more time for us and, well, maybe an 8-bit tail. Have fun. Oh, no 8-bit tail. Okay, then we're going into another video. A producer just told me he wants to show you something else, which is actually much better than an 8-bit tail. It's the highlight recap video of the grand finals. Have fun.
There's so many members not too far away. Breakneck is trying to get into his power slides moving forward. Oh! Breakneck's gone down, snapped in half by the opponents, and now Bishop left in a 1v3. Can he get the shots towards power slide? 3 shells remaining here. Power slide does not land the shot back. It's going so close. Oh, missing a vital shot there. And Strike now coming round on the flank. Could catch him out when Rio's available. He's been tracked. He's held in place. He misses again. This is huge. Bishop has just about thrown this away.
13 секунд до конца захвата. Инспайрер на блоке. Инспайрер против Бишопа. Все очень хорошо. Breakneck не успеет подъехать, если захват базы будет идти так хорошо. Кириллоид погибнет здесь. Кириллоида забирают. Левша получает дважды пробитие. Вортик может забрать левшу. Нет, Вортик убегает, но и Вортика за это наказывают. Нужно было оставить ряд до конца, так, если были снаряды. Есть ли фугасы вот сюда? Breakneck -1. Что он делает? Паверслайд КД. Паверслайд КД. Забрать тэшек теперь. Промах от Breakneck. Breakneck не спешит. Здесь нужно. Еще раз промахивается. Один снаряд есть. Эклипс Делюкса, смотри, что они вытворяют. Павара сейчас зарядится. Забирают Делюкса. Ну, забрать Эклипса еще, добрать.
The damage from the T1. HydraX did not need that. He was already behind in HP. That's really not what they wanted. And Little Mac is going to go down to Lucic, but he might be able to do some damage. He is doing a little bit of damage, but the round from Lucic does take him down. Now it's 2 T1s and a 13-19 against HydraX. HydraX comes in though, gets the first shot. He's not going for the ram. He's going around the back. And he gets the advantage as Lucic misses a shell, but HydraX misses the next shell. It's now even, and he needs to get the shots off first. This is down to the wire. HydraX might be able to pull this off. No! Lucic gets it with a sliver of health. Unity takes it out.
Паверслайд со страйком, это атака, они выезжают по центру. Паверслайд сразу сражается со страйком за Брекнеком. Выстрел, 2, 3, 4, ну нужно бросить. Повер, где пробитие? Заберут. Тут Кириллоид против Куска, забирают еще и Куска. Что делают Нави? Забрали Повера, но это не страшно. Все, 4 в 2. Они вышли по центру карты, забрали 2 танка. Перестрелка продолжается. Сейчас Вортик, Кирилла забирают. Забрали Кирилла, и можно забирать Инспирера и Левшу. Здесь получается вот, контратака. Выезжают на Инспирера, либо Левшу. Фокус, где фокус от команды Virtus.pro? Левша получает дважды, у Страйка перезарядка. Левшу нужно забрать моментально. Вортик, выстрел, минус. Сколько снарядов? Сколько снарядов осталось? Инспайрера забрать. Рину набросил Левша неплохо отстреливается, но Люцик дважды получил. Все, Толик ждал Страйка, чтобы поработать по Страйку, включить еще Толика. Корму выезжает. Вот теперь Толика нужно включать быстрее, а ХП меньше и меньше. Кирилла забрать. Кирилла забрать. Срочно. Анатолича надо еще показать. Страйк переигрывает Толика, по идее. Толик либо Страйк. Страйка убивают. Толик выиграл. И тут теряют Кириллоида, теряют Диодора. 47 секунд. Это может быть 1-1, как придет Анатолич. Это может быть. Рину может потащить. Выезжают Нави на стволы. У Анатолича 2 шота есть. Вон он подъезжает. Нуклеарные передатки забирают танк. Размен продолжается. 3-2. Паверслайд КД. Он заряжается и, возможно, не успеет вообще зарядиться. Левша убегает. Он просто убегает. 30 секунд нужно выживать. А где Толик? Погоня за ним. Повер его не пустит. Забрал Левша Толика. Все. Паверслайд блок. Ну, да, не пустил. Почти Повер. Ну и третий медленный. Паверслайд творит чудо. И этот игрок, по идее, спасает сейчас ситуацию для своей команды. Поворот от Левши. Зарядился! Оу, вот его и добивают. Левша. 7 секунд. Догнать Левшу и убить его можно. Он завернул. Нет, он завернул. 1-1 ничья.
But look at this. They're pincered in. Breakneck receives another shell. He's in trouble. He's going low. 1-3-8. Navi are getting so close here. They're 2 tanks away from the victory. Just Cause a delight. They must stay alive. They must turn this around. Inspired challenge by Delight. Just Cause to power slide. The struggle begins. Each shell as vital as the next. Inspire! He takes him down. Kirill is most away. Navi have done it. They've reclaimed the crown. They've shown exactly why they are at the top of this scene. And what a way to do it.
And yes, goosebumps every time I hear it and every time I rewatch it. People, the date has been announced, the location has been announced, the 25th to 26th of April in Warsaw, Poland, in the Expo 21 venue. And well, I'm looking forward to it. And if you can somehow manage to get there, do it. It was insane last year. We don't know who's going this year, but yeah, let's see. And it will be amazing. I think the teams are ready as well, right? So they want to battle it out and see who's going to the Season 5 finals before the Grand Finals, of course.
Indeed, and of course you can qualify for the Grand Finals via the Season 5 finals, so we're also fighting for that one as well. We are ready to get into our second game pretty much. It's between, of course, Dream Leprechauns, the Finns, and Kazna Crew. What's your first impressions on this match?
I think this match is very important for Kazna Crew because if they lose this match, they have to win against Momentum. And even though that doesn't sound that difficult for them, they might be surprised.
Yeah, I agree with you. They've got everything to play for right now. A lot of struggles for them ahead. As you said, a lot of surprises happened towards Kazna Crew. They've not exactly been a good team this season. They've struggled a lot considering the player skills. Why do you think Kazna has had such a hard time in Season 5?
Well, I think that they lacked a little bit of coordination, and this is because of probably some not enough practice from them. But I think they're on their path to become a lot better, and I hope we see them in the offline finals.
I agree. Let's have a look at those rosters now. Of course, these two teams have been going back and forwards for a couple of seasons, but Dream Leprechauns under a different name, Freefall and Spala. So, who is really the guy who has to step up for Kazna Crew? Because Dream Leprechauns doesn't have that much to win in this one. I mean, they can get out of that automatic relegation zone, but for Kazna, it is about that top 6 spot.
I can't point out a guy right now. I think they all as a team must work better together and have a very good coordination in this match. And looking at Dream Leprechauns, I want to see them like back in the old days when they were really good on attacks, and when I was looking back at them in the Gulf Wars when they were practically destroying every team they met on the battlefield.
Yeah, they were a sick team, but our first map's going to come up now. The two teams are just getting ready, so we're moving into steps first. What kind of gameplay do you think we were seeing there? It's been an interesting match throughout the season.
Yes, we're gonna see steps. The first time DRL is going to be on defense first, and I'm looking a little bit on the tanks they said they're gonna pick. The teams are sending us by email these tanks, and of course they can repick if they want after each round. So I'm thinking that DRL will first stay a little bit defensive, see how Kazna goes, how they do their play, and after that maybe we'll see a more aggressive DRL even on the defense side.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some switcheroo there for sure. I want Kazna to really pull out all the stops. They struggled against Wusa on Wednesday, I believe, or Tuesday, where they won 5-4, so then he picked up the 2 points. And also one of the reasons why Wusa had to play another game to actually qualify for this season finals. So, you know, a lot riding on this game. I mean, Dream Leprechauns lost 5-1 against Virtus Pro in their previous matchup, so they're coming off a loss. But do you think Dream Leprechauns going to have a chance of getting out of that automatic relegation zone?
Definitely not. I'm so sorry for them. They will definitely relegate right now because they lost against Momentum. They are the ones with 9 points right now. So they have only 6 points. Even if they win tonight, because they lost in their direct match against Momentum, they are still going to relegate.
Yeah, we go to a mini league if they have the same amount of points. So we look at the matchup between the two teams. Whoever has one in that matchup will be the one to actually go through to whatever kind of stage they have. If that's the season finals, if that's going above the automatic relegation zone, which is 11th and 12th, or if it's going into a better position against the relegation teams. But anyway, enough of that. We're into game on our first round on steps. Dream Leprechauns on the defense, and of course, Kazna Crew on the attack.
Yes, and looking at the lineups right now, we see an IS3 coming out from Kazna. They have been using this IS3 a lot in their previous matches, and I've also seen the IS3 coming from TCM, if I remember correctly. I think it was still Moja going with IS3, and they are going for a normal attack play right now. but I'm not really sure I understand what that T-54 light is doing over there. Trying probably to do the initial spot, and he already gets the IS-3, but I think it's pretty far away.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a big deal, and the fact that the T-54 lightweight also got spotted, I'm not sure exactly who did that, but I believe that was Vetso, as message should pop over those railroads. So a bit of information for both teams, but Drooling Leprechauns clearly are the ones who have everything to play for. Is on steps, it's slightly easier to defend. At this point in time, Kazna crew have to really step up this match, because, as I said before, they're a team that should be doing a lot better, and they just simply haven't been. So, you know, if they're going to step up in any match, it's this one.
And I'm looking at DRL right now. K-Rex, Wilkie, and Jack are staying quite in an awkward position over there in A5. They are actually waiting for the whole of Kazna to come over the line and get a very nice surprise from DRL. Mesag is there for the spots, and he has backup over there.
Yeah, he's got backup for the MX-1390, and of course, Drooling Leprechauns on the blue side are playing the M44, so they can do some good damage. Yoo-Hoo hasn't managed to connect any shells as of yet, and neither team has, and it's been a pretty slow start, considering in the previous round, you know, School Bus and Virtus Pro, about all of the games were over at this point. Maybe a couple of ones on Himmelsdorf wasn't, but Kazna crew do surge forwards. You got Hyber, Vetso, Rust, and finally LD Nexus in that 2-5-1 going forwards and going to try and take down Message, but as you said, support from the right.
And they're heading into a trap right now, following Mesag, and let's see if the shells come from Drooling Leprechauns. Indeed they do, and look at Raster. He really commits over the railroad, and this might be the end for him, but no, it's Mesag who falls first.
Raster's got plenty of time. He's actually sitting in between a wreck, but Wilkie with the ammo rack on that IS-3. Massive mistake by Hyber, no idea what he was doing then, but these 3 MX-1390s on reload of K-Rex, Wilkie, and Jack all have to reverse and try and get out of there. Egan's doing good work from the side, and that man simply doesn't miss. At the moment, 3rd on the Hall of Fame for damage, and I think he might just find K-Rex. Actually, that last gel misses, and so does that one there. So luckily, K-Rex gets out of there scot-free.
And I'm looking forward to see Juhu right now connecting all his shells, because he has such an important role. There are still 6 versus 6 right now. There's just a lot of HP difference made by DRL from their previous kill on that IS-3. We see almost 1000 HP difference, and they are just now waiting for Kazna to show their next move.
Why did Hyber cross that railroad then? I'm still at a loss for that one.
I think he was pretty confident that he can deal enough damage to kill at least one of those 1390.
Yeah, I just think it was an unnecessary sacrifice.
Yes.
The side of the IS-3 is not invulnerable even to that 244 penetration of
especially
the 1390.
When you go with the side.
Yeah, so I think big mistake there by Hyber, unnecessary, and he could have certainly just lost his team this round. But what does Kazna crew have to do now? Do they have to try and flank around? Do they start their cap? They still got that 59-16 alive.
Actually, I'm more afraid what DRL has to do now to stop that cap, because the Kazna crew still has that 59-16 Piloda that is now into the cap zone, as you can see. And Kazna is really stacking up in A2, A3, preparing, as it seems, for DRL to attack. But DRL is on the side and will try to come around. I don't know if they have enough time, but we'll see very short.
Yeah, 80 seconds left now. Elian, Roster, MX-1390s heading around. This is a standard northern attack in the 6th line. The spots do come out. M44 trying to do some damage, but once again, Juhu doesn't manage to connect. Jack does get found there, and I think this is going to be the push from Kazna crew. 2 minutes and 8 seconds to make something work here. Jack finds him from the side, but you got that 59-16 to pester him down in the south, and honestly, Message and Co are on the rotate with the MX-1390 and most of the light tanks, so Kaz has done a good job of predicting what Drooling Leprechauns are going to do and might just find this eastern cap.
Yeah, and Jack manages to kill Piloda. Not a big kill right there at tier 6, but German Brat is coming for him. He's full HP with all his shells, and Jack will probably die.
Ooh, German Brat even finds a track. Jack straight away on the repair kit, but as soon as German Brat heads around this corner, he's got the whole might of Drooling Leprechauns across the field to snipe in, and they will not miss. But thankfully, they got another tank on the side. Elians finds a Genty up north. That's a good play, and indeed, Genty's the best player of the league so far for the entirety, Elian probably won't find Juhu. Oh, he will. Actually, Juhu's playing the M44, of course, so Elian just needs to hit these 2 shells, and the artillery for Drooling Leprechauns will fall. Easy stuff from him as Juhu does fall, and it looks like Kazna are back in this game.
But look at the time. They have only 1 minute to kill all the enemy tanks or to cap this out, and seems like they're going for the cap.
Easy stuff there, cap underway, 45 seconds on that one, so it's all on Drooling Leprechauns to make the move. They are going to go forwards. They got a 251, 2 MX-3090s. Apart from Career X, they have quite a lot of HP, and of course Sensei's got 100%, so he might be able to find Vetso, but a low roll from him doesn't secure him the kill, and LD Nexus is there to stop him going further. 1 versus 1, LD Nexus has a low amount of hit points, so of course Sensei will find him, but you can see Elian Ruster, German break tentatively waiting in the background to try and make this one, and honestly Sensei has got to try and stop this cap. Kirix on a 1-shot in that AMX-3090, 5 shells left in the autoload. He does find the first shell, Elian fluffs it as well, so Kirix might just be able to find a couple more, but Vetso with a 251 connects that beautiful shell, and Wilkie is left to try and pick up his pieces.
And indeed he does. 1 versus 2, Wilkie is going all in, 7 seconds left, but he might fall because he's very low HP, and he does. LD Nexus manages to kill Wilkie and secures the win for Kazna.
Oh, that was down to the last second of the game, but Kazna do manage to do it in some interesting fashion, and it clearly, that rotate is what gave it them.
Yeah, and they were very inspired to go over the railroad and smash Drooling Leprechauns, and Jack was the first to fall after he kills Piloda, and after that they just managed to cover all entries into the cap zone, and it was game over for Drooling Leprechauns.
You could kind of see the fight between Agenti, star player for Drooling Leprechauns, and German Brait. And of course, the 2 players from Drooling Leprechauns, Sensei and Wilkie, was supporting Agenti there, but I thought they kind of overstayed their welcome a little bit.
Yes, you can't really put your hopes in that 1390 as a sniper. It's not the best sniper from all tanks. I personally like more the 251 as a sniper than the 1390. I think the 1390 is more like a combat tank. You have to go in with it and deliver all the shells and connect all of them if you want to do a difference. So I think probably that was the problem why they were not so able to help Jack in that position.
Yeah, a lot of problems there for Drooling Leprechauns, but that's the first round over. Great start, perfect start for Kazna crew. Not only did they manage to win an attacking side on steps, but they also came back from a deficit. Surely that will give them a good confidence boost.
Yeah, definitely, and I loved how Drooling Leprechauns were stacking those 3 tanks in those bushes over there. They did quite a lot of damage, but after that, it just felt like they lost it.
Yeah, they lost everything going, so... next round's going to be underway very shortly. We've got similar lineups from both teams. Again, Juhu's playing that M44, hoping for a better round this time. He didn't do any damage that last one. I'm going to double check that in case someone does say something there. So yeah, 0 damage. The only non-damage dealer for Drooling Leprechauns, but Hyber as well in the IS3 didn't do any damage. And to be honest, I'd prefer to have an M44 not doing anything than a tier 8 heavy tank and IS3 not doing anything. And, well, he's sticking to it. Do you think it's a good idea for him to take the IS3 again?
The IS3 has a lot of very good armor for a light tank, so you cannot really... you can use it as the tank who can receive a lot of shells and absorb a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So probably that's why Kazna is using it. Or the option 2 is that they're using it because the player that they put in that tank is very good with it.
Yeah, Hyber as well. I mean, he's the team captain, so it's kind of logical to have him in a slower turret of a tank so he can think about what his team's doing, so he can position them right, and he doesn't really have to worry about him having to, navigate around obstacles at like 80 kilometers an hour. So maybe even a good command position tank for Hyber. But let's see if he can do a better job in this round again. Kazna will be in the attack and Drooling Leprechauns on the defense at the moment. Kazna playing for a spot in the Season 5 finals. They have to win this round to get a spot there. So 1-0 up, they've started off well, and see if they can repeat performance.
Let's see if Juhu with that M44 will do a lot better this round. I want to see him connect even more shells. And in the start of the battle, seems like Drooling Leprechauns and Kazna are going both in the same direction.
Yeah, the 5916 is over to the left and the M44 is to the right, but that kind of cancels each other out a little bit. But a standard start from Kazna crew at this period, but But you can see the AMX City 3090 and a 251 head down south. They're in a perfect position to deal with DRL right now.
And I hope they are not committing, because they will definitely be crushed by Kazna. And some damage over there. The initial damage is happening right now. And Jack receives a lot of damage on the flank over there, 804. And what can we make out of this?
Oh, surely Jack will fall, but German Brait and Vetso not really hitting their shells. Drooling Leprechaun trying to flank around now. You can see Wilkie all on his own. The MX 3090. I'm surprised Ruster hasn't gone in. And it is definitely Kazna crew in the lead. About 2k HP. Sensei put under so much pressure. But Wilkie doing a great job on his own, but not good enough as Ilian and quickly Sensei. Ilian finds Wilkie and Sensei goes down via Hyber, and at the moment Kazna crew pushing in. Hyber going to go haul down in their IS-3 as Drooling Leprechauns with their tail between their legs run away back into defensive positions.
That was a bit too much from Drooling Leprechauns, and we can see Agenti suffering from that decision even more. And what Kazna has to do right now is just to flank around, get all the exit points from Drooling Leprechauns and crush them in the middle.
Let's see if they can do that. German Brait off reload. Ruster almost off reload as well. Vetso's starting to come into the battle. We see Pilar on that 59-16 head towards the cap, but I believe Vetso will connect the shell onto Juhu unless he severely fluffs it, but he hasn't got HE loaded and does do a low roll. German Brait doesn't make up for his mistake there and can't find him, but at least Ruster gets onto the end of message, team captain for Drooling Leprechauns. So it's going all Kazna crew's way, as German Brait does want to find some revenge on Kirix.
And what is Kirix doing there, to be honest, because all his teammates are far away from that position, and he's the only one left in that area, so the inevitable happens and all the Nexus kills Kirix.
Yeah, easy kill from him, and this is going to be the last movement here from Kazna crew. LD Nexus takes down the last combat tank for Drooling Leprechauns. Agenti is left in that 251 sniper. German Brait, Juhu and the M44, and Vetso off reload takes down Agenti, and a pretty clinical dispatch of Drooling Leprechauns by Kazna.
Very good play from Kazna crew. Very well done by Kazna crew. Nothing more to add.
Yeah, easy stuff. I mean, it was almost won at the beginning when they had the 251, the MX 3090s down south. They managed to find a lot of shells onto Sensei. He was lost about 800 HP. Wilkie played very well, but he kind of segregated himself from his team, went into the middle, and then it kind of fell apart for Drooling Leprechauns.
Yeah, you're perfectly right. I agree with you, and I don't understand why they committed from the start of the battle, considering that they spotted that IS-3, and you can realize that the other tanks are near him as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes, but Hyber did come into that battle a little bit more in the IS-3. Good to see him step up, hitting a couple of interesting shells. But 2-0 on the attacking side. It's going very well for Kazna. They look like they're on track for the 3 points. I guess TCM Gaming is going to be, sitting in the sidelines with bated breath, hoping that Kazna do lose the next few rounds, because their fate are on the lines as well here. Yeah,
definitely. If Kazna doesn't lose now in this match, then TCM versus WSD Gaming is pretty much without any stake.
Yeah, Kazna have 14 points, I believe, so that will bring them up to 17 points, and TCM Gaming, well, they've got 14 points as well, but they don't have quite the matchup against Kazna crew, so they win and they lose in the mini league, giving Kazna that top 6 spot. It will push Utopia down to 7th. So right now, if Kazna continue, our top 6 for the finals is Virtus.pro, GGL Played, WSD Gaming, Wusa, School Bus, and finally Kazna crew. So that's a pretty good top 6.
Yeah, it's a very good top 6, and it almost makes me very happy that I'm going to this offline finals, so I can see those interesting matches.
Yeah, more information on the offline finals will come very shortly. Of course, we can't release any information now because we haven't finished the online part of it. Once the online part is over, we'll be able to release the information with all the teams that qualified and where it's going to be, when it's going to be, for you guys to find out. I'm pretty sure you're going to be very happy with that.
Definitely, and if you guys are wondering when is this online part over, that's today after TCM versus WSD Gaming.
Exactly. Of course, we have one more match on Monday, but it would mean nothing if Kazna crew continue their reign of dominance here against Drooling Leprechauns. They'll be fighting Momentum on Monday, but I'm sure they're just going to take some togs if they win this battle. Or maybe they want to take another 3 points to make themselves in a better seeding going into the finals. Of course, that's an important point.
So in the end, the seeding matters at the offline finals.
Exactly. I mean, as we go with the format, 4 teams in day one, 2 teams in day 2. At the moment, those 2 teams in day 2 are definitely Virtus Pro seeded first and GG Well Played. But WSD Gaming could possibly... No, they can't even catch up with GG Well Played, so it's definitely Virtus Pro in the winners bracket, GG Well Played in the losers bracket, and the other 4 teams in the first day, and of course the seeding.
But if Kazna are going to win both matches, they're going to get 6 points, so they can actually go in the 3rd place.
That would be great.
WSD Gaming loses their match.
And technically they should. I mean, Momentum is lost against Dream Leprechauns yesterday, DTQ yesterday, so Kazna should be winning this round. But looking at the lineups, going back to this game, anything surprising? I mean, for me, it just looks like normal mixture of, you know, MX-1390s and 251s.
Well, I'm not seeing any T32 from Kazna Crew, so they have a pretty active lineup right now. On the other side, DRL has also a very active and very agile and with a good mobility tank setup, so it's gonna be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, I mean, no artillery, no heavy tanks. I guess Kazna wants to go aggressive. They've shown that they can be in a good aggressive team, and I think, you know, despite a lot of bad results for Kazna Crew, they have quite a good mixture between their defensive abilities and their offensive abilities.
Yeah, but let's not forget that DRL is a very good attacking team. At least they were some time ago. So I think it will be quite even. As we saw a little bit before in those defensive rounds from DRL, they were trying to mix a little bit the defense with the attack because they were going all in on their opponents, which they shouldn't actually because they were on the defense.
You can see Kazna Crew straight away heading across the northern area of the map. They've got all the fast tanks, so there's no reason why they should go anywhere else. T37 down south to try and get the early spots on. And Drooling Leprechauns, I think they're going for some initial spotting positions, or they might just go straight into the towards the eastern cap.
Yeah, well, we already see some initial damage over there. Pilauda taking some, and also Kirex. But half of DRL are committing to the other base and going straight forward to Pilauda.
Yeah, they're going to go on Pilauda. T37 is not particularly high HP tank, about 600 HP to play around with. That was actually a good shot there, but Dream Leprechauns, good start. They've got that eastern flank, and let's see what they can do with it. You can see Message and Wilkie starting to head around to try and stop Kazna Crew from getting these positions, and Kazna might just be throwing away that initial 2-round attacking advantage they had.
They still have 2 tanks that they are not using, that 1390 and that 251 in C5 and E4. And now they are putting pressure on Kazna Crew by being in the cap zone, so they should already consider a counter movement.
See what they do. 22 seconds for Drooling Leprechauns to hold onto this cap. Ely and Ruster with the AMX 1390. 6 shells left in there, just getting themselves ready. Pilauda might go in first in that T37 or be the backup plan from the south, and it's going to be Ruster to engage first. He's actually found the back of these 3 tanks as they weren't ready, but it's still going to be 4 versus 1. Ruster actually gets tracked, does hit a couple of shells, does reset, so he's done his job. He just needs to stay safe, just needs to stay alive, and Message finds Pilauda from that early bit of damage. Neldy next so easy onto Kurix, and he is going the way of Kazna Crew right now. Juhu falls, Ruster going in 1 versus 1, fluffs the last shell. That might have just cost him his life, but he got tracked. Message actually finds him. Star player for Kazna Crew does fall, and it's back in Drooling Leprechauns' favor.
And looking at the HP, still Kazna Crew has a slight advantage, but they are going around with high buff Vetso and LD Nexus. LD Nexus manages to kill Team Captain Wilkie. Jack might be the next one up in line, and indeed it is. And looking at the other side, Ilian manages to kill Mesag. Agenti and Sensei are the only ones left. 2 versus 3 right now. And it's still very close for both teams.
No, I think this is game over now. I think the guns in the game are going to come through. Also, the segregation from Drooling Leprechauns is definitely not helping. Vetso, LD Nexus onto Sensei. They are finding a couple of shells in the back. Agenti, though, is getting their team back in the game. Can LD Nexus find this last shell? He's not even managed to do it so far, but LD Nexus does do it. Vetso's going to go towards Agenti. He is a one-shot. LD Nexus still on the chase. Vetso around the side. Is he going to connect the shell? He's been on point. This season so far, and it will be LD Nexus with his 5th frag to bring Kazna crew into a 3-0 victory.
One more frag and it would have been a Top Gun, right?
6 frag even.
6 frags. Oh, Top Gun awarded to LD Nexus, man.
It's 7 frags now for Top Gun, mate.
No, it's 6.
It's 7.
6, man.
No, it's 7.
Guys at home, please tell us.
Okay, it is 6. It used to be 7 though.
Oh.
It used to be 7 back in beta. That's when it was hard to get Top Gun.
I was
now
about to ask the guys at home to tell us on Twitter.
It's too easy. It's too easy to get Top Gun now, man. It's too easy. But you can see how on point LD Nexus has been. He's doing so well. A lot of guys called him out. He's obviously an ex-player from Wusa. Good to see him stepping up for Kazna.
Yeah, very good play from him. Even if he only did the frags at the end, but he was really good at aiming in this round.
Well, he did 2,030 damage, so he also did the most damage for his team.
Very well played from him.
Yeah,
very
perfect stuff. The highest, I think the highest fragger in the whole season so far. You can't really get any higher than that unless you get all 7. So great stuff from him. And he's just a guy who seems to be working well under pressure. I think a lot of players would crumble considering Kazna is vying for a place in those season finals, but he's not, and he's a young player sticking to his guns and hitting their shells. But now Dream Leprechauns 3-0 down. They have another chance on the defensive side, on the attacking side even. So, I mean, they look like they had that advantage. They had the right side, but they just couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, we could see how Kazna managed to come from all sides and just crush them in the end. But it was very close because Raster did a small mistake over there, just committing too much with 1 shell left, missing that shell, and then on reload and being tracked and all that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Raster making a small mistake, but the rest of his team stepped up and managed to kind of cover up for that one. So 3-0, Dream Leprechauns are severely behind. Kazna crew just 1 round away from taking the match point, from going to match point, which is of course 4. They need a total of 5 rounds to pick the 3 points up. So about 10 seconds left. For Dream Leprechauns, 3 AMX 1390s, 2 251s, 2 Bulldogs, and for Kazna crew, 2 AMX 1390s, 4 251s, and a T37. Personally, I like those Bulldogs in play because they can provide that real burst damage, and they have a faster shot time between shots than the AMX 1390.
Yeah, I personally prefer the Bulldogs as well, but I can't say I don't like one more 251 instead of a Bulldog, to be honest. Sometimes it depends on the tactic you want to bring on, and so far with those 251s, it seems that it works perfectly for Kazna.
Let's see what Kazna can do. Looks like Dream Leprechauns are calling their bluff straight away, heading to the right side. T37 Palaura did get dispatched early on. Can he stay alive a little bit longer as Dream Leprechauns in their entirety are spotted? But Kazna crew look a little bit lost for words right now, as they are a little bit slow to react, and this could give Dream Leprechauns a clear, easy early advantage.
Definitely, and they're going again all in on this side, which is pretty strange. Doing the same tactic twice, it almost feels like Dream Leprechauns has gave up.
Yeah, it does look like that, and you can see the red dots of Kazna crew are starting to surround, starting to focus down Dream Leprechaun. Vetso in the 251 in the perfect position. LD Nexus is in support, but Jack Sensei are going to come over the top. They are going to go for the 251s. Hyber Palauda in support. Can Dream Leprechauns pick up around LD Nexus first on the attack, but Sensei is taking so much damage. Sensei does manage to find Vetso next, and it's doing so well for Dream Leprechauns. Message coming in for Palauda, and German Break trying to be a hero. It's not doing too well as he misses that shell against Sensei. Hyber doing some damage in the back, finding 2. Ruster also with the reply. Kirex going against Hyber. He desperately wants this kill, but Ruster will be there to avenge.
But now they have they have Luki on reloading, and Ruster, Ilian, and Hyper just got picked up by Juhu, so only Ruster and Ilian are left. Ruster only 1 shell left. He has to make it count, otherwise it will be game over for his team.
The problem is that message is actually to the left. That's the big problem right now. Elian trying to do as much, trying to keep a Genti at bay. He's just going to ignore those tanks. He's going to go for a Genti. I think he's got HE loaded. Yes, he does, but he hits the side of a Genti, and that's not good enough, as Elian is desperately alone, and despite the fact of him being such a good player and being an MVP, it's simply not enough, and surprisingly that all-in tactic works.
Yeah, they actually managed to surprise Kazna by going for those 2 tanks, left too far away from their teammates. Not that far away, but still a distance enough that made it count in the end.
I think it was big mistakes by Kazna crew then. Elian was too late for the fight. He was on full hit points at the end. And it just felt like the MVPs of Kazna let the whole team down then.
Yeah, well, that was a surprising play from Drooling Leprechauns. As I said before, I personally thought that they are giving up. Like, okay, just let's go and see what happens. But no, they actually had a plan, and they went exactly for the tanks they wanted. They did a very good focus fire, and look at them right now. 3-1, managed to get one more round.
But Kazna weren't even that far away. I mean, they're playing light tanks. Like, that should not have happened. Kazna should have been able to come in. They should have been going for it. But it just seemed like all the players were kind of at the edge and not really doing that much. Yes, you know, Sensei and Wilkie and those two MX-3090s did a good job coming over. But I just think Kazna should have got a little bit more stuck in that round.
Definitely, and if you look at how many shells they connected, and especially German Brate, he came in, and I almost thought for 1 second that he's going to kill everyone, but missed a lot of shells, and that was an important and crucial.
He missed Sensei.
Yeah.
Yeah, big mistakes by German Brate. So next map's going to be Prokhorovka. I'm not sure he's on the attack and defense. I think this one's actually picked up by Drooling Leprechauns. So Kazna's going to be on the defense first.
Yeah, Kazna will defend first. And these are pretty much bad news for Drooling Leprechauns. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, Kazna obviously wants some practice on Prokhorovka. 3-1 is the scoreline after the first map in favor of Kazna crew. Did everyone at home guess it right? That's the real question, Melly.
Well, the vote is clearly in favor for Kazna crew with 87%. So not too many Drooling Leprechauns fans out there, or, well, seen it pretty much realistically. So, and by looking closer on the numbers, on the exact numbers of the voting results, they actually predict something very close. So I don't see many 5-0s or 5-1s, a lot of 5-4 even. So maybe we're going to see a decider. I mean, the second map is open and everything can still happen. But yes, another update from the Silver Series. Ding is playing Paralytic today. And do you guys know Paralytic?
Yeah, we know Paralytic. Actually, Devil is playing in Paralytic, so I think Ding should easily take it, to be honest.
Okay, thank you very much. So if you have any interest in the Silver Series of the Wargaming.net League, just head over to easeoutgaming.com and have a look on the rankings, because the top two of the Silver Series are actually directly relegating into the Gold Series. So by doing well in the Silver Series, you can actually promote into the Gold Series, which isn't too bad if you ask me. But the Twitter community is asking Ding for some TOG action, and I have a nice little video regarding exactly that very topic for you piped up, so enjoy the Challenger with the TOG.
This monster behind me is the TOG, or to be more accurate, the TOG 2. And once again, Wargaming is at the world-famous Tank Museum in Bovington, England, with another unique insight into the world of tanks. Let me try and position this beast for you. The clue is in the name, TOG, which was actually a nickname that stood for the Old Gang. This Old Gang included some of the first tank pioneers, Stern, Tritton, Ricardo, Wilson, Swinton, and Earncourt, who in Britain in 1939 had been organised into something called the Special Vehicle Development Committee. Their fear was that the coming war would be fought just as the previous one had been, with lines of strong defences that were enormously difficult to penetrate. So they approached the British Army with a proposal for a new super heavy tank, which could cross broken ground and trenches in support of attacking infantry. A monster landship that would cut a swathe through enemy defences. And it was a monster. The first prototype rolled out in 1940 and weighed in at 81 tonnes. That's 25 tonnes more than the Tiger 1 and even 11 tonnes more than Tiger 2. As originally conceived, it had a 75mm howitzer in the hull, like the Shah-B and the first Churchill, with a tiny 2-pounder in a small turret taken from the Matilda II. 2 more 2-pounders in sponsons at the side, and no fewer than 4 machine guns to provide all-round fire. Its armour, close to 75mm in thickness, could stand up to hits from 47mm anti-tank guns at 100 metres, and also against 105mm shell fire. The tracks, just like early World War I designs, ran around the entire hull, and there was no suspension for wheels at all. The whole lot was driven by a petrol-electric arrangement, with a 600 horsepower diesel engine driving an electric generator, which in turn powered motors which drove the drive sprockets. The prototype did not impress, since the electric generator overheated and burned out. This was almost exactly the same setup that Ferdinand Porsche would later use to drive his unsuccessful prototype for the Tiger I, which also had a nasty tendency to catch fire. Tank technology and the new style of tank warfare, epitomised by the Blitzkrieg, were already moving on, and the TOG-1 was abandoned in favour of a redesigned TOG-2, and this one here is the only surviving example. It was just as heavy as the first prototype, but incorporated some improvements. The tracks were no longer World War I style, but ran from the front idler through a tunnel to the rear drive sprocket. The sponsons were also gone, and a side door for the 6-man crew was installed above the track tunnel. It also now had suspension, as well as 2 electric generators, which actually seemed to have functioned quite well, although it was still hopelessly underpowered, with a top speed of just under 14 kilometers per hour. On top, the puny 2-pounder, ridiculous on a tank of this size, had finally been dropped, and a variety of turrets were tried, culminating in this one mounting a 17-pounder gun. This had been lifted wholesale from the Challenger, good name, a 17-pounder version of the Cromwell cruiser tank. The hull-mounted 75mm howitzer had also gone, replaced by a 7.92mm Beza machine gun. In short, it had begun to look like a World War II tank rather than a World War I throwback. Let's now take a look inside this monster. The first position that's clearly identified in the centre of the vehicle and towards the front is the driver's position. Just to the right of the driver, we would have found one of our 7.92mm Beza machine guns, and you can see the ports there where it would have been mounted. Directly behind that, you can see this very large turret basket. Now this would actually have moved, obviously, into with the turret. And located up inside the turret, we would have found the commander, the gunner, and the first of our 2 loaders. As for the second loader, well, nobody's really too sure where his actual position was, so we're assuming that he would somewhere be wandering around inside the rest of this vast compartment. Look at the amount of room you've got on the back decks of this vehicle. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, there's enough room to hold a party here. Directly in front of me, we can see we've got this great big 600 horsepower diesel engine. Behind the engine, we had the 2 generators, and behind those generators, we had 2 electric motors that drove the rear sprockets. Even had it gone into production, it is very doubtful whether the TOG would have ever had any useful role on the battlefield, other than making a nice big target. The problem was that other better tanks had already arrived, which, between them, could match or outperform the TOG in every way. The Churchill for armour protection and the infantry support, the Sherman for speed, manoeuvrability, and eventually, firepower. So the TOG remains an oddity, a tank that looked backwards in warfare that was moving forwards, and a warning that the demands of war often require revolution, not just evolution.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and yes, The vote has closed now, but the next vote will be open after this match, before heading into the third round of the night. And of course, Twitter is still on. Tweet us by using the hashtag WGLEU and submit your predictions there as well. And I think the teams are ready for Prorokka.
Yeah, we're just about ready to get underway. Will Kazna crew manage to finish this game off at the moment 3-1 after that first map steps? So 2 more rounds to find. They are going to be on the defense. And last time when they played this, which was yesterday against Evil Planner Squad, they won 3 times, twice on the defense, twice on the attack. So it's looking good for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think they are very strong on defense on this map. They really know how to play this map, especially on defense. So I'm looking forward to see what they have prepared for us today.
Let's see, and let's get underway, because at the moment, Drooling Leprechauns are fighting for those 3 points. They need to get another couple of rounds in the bag. What kind of attacking maneuver do they have in mind, and what does Kazna crew have to repel it? They are in the north on the defense, and Drooling Leprechauns in the south on the attack, and both teams heading towards that right side.
And looking at Drooling Leprechauns over there right now, they have 3 T69s, and they picked up British tank, British TD, Charioteer. How do you feel about that?
It does well on this map quite a lot of times. It's done a good amount of damage. Some shots coming out of Kazna crew. They are definitely winning in the initial engagements, and they've also found Sensei and Kirex over towards the southern side. And to be honest, history has told us that unless Sensei does get into that hold down position, he will go down. And Kazna crew just have to keep Drooling Leprechauns at bay. They are surrounding them. They're using that middle area to try and split the map in half and get map dominance.
But in the same moment, they lose the mid dominance because they are committing 3 tanks up north and 2 tanks down south, and it's going to be a very interesting fight down south over there, because it's 2 versus possible 3 against 3 Drooling Leprechauns tanks.
Oh, Agenti though on the hill is down to 42% in that Charioteer. That's a 1050 HP, and LD Nexus once again, the man who can, finds Agenti, and that's the main damage dealer out for Drooling Leprechauns.
Amazing, amazing shell over there towards Agenti. And now Kirex with that T37 and that 39 against the RU and the M41 Walker Bulldog. But now we have to see those T69s doing their play over there in the middle. Otherwise, I'm not seeing Drooling Leprechauns too well.
What is Drooling Leprechauns going to do to try and dig this themselves out of this hole, which Kazna crew is at the moment making a little bit deeper every single second that goes past? Do they go north? Do they try and push around as they have done from the south? Those are the couple options they have, and as you said, those T69s need to start doing some damage.
And they are not doing it right now. I think already Kazna has all the information needed to surprise Drooling Leprechauns, so we are just like moments ahead. Moments till they might do so.
Yeah, I think they're going to push into the middle. 2 2-5-1s are there. They are starting to get themselves together. Sensei and Jack are going to do a lot of initial damage, but because Rust has done such a good job against Sensei, as has Elian, it's going to be a pretty easy pickup at the beginning if they do push in quickly. You can see the M41 Bulldogs are up towards the right side, but he is against the 2-5-1, so might be quite hard for him to overmatch there. Jack also getting pestered there from the southern side, and it is really, really hard for Drooling Leprechauns to get back into this game, despite Jack doing the best he can.
Definitely, and we already see the first kill coming from Ilian, and more to come as Sensei is very low HP and on reload right now.
Jack, Juhu, Sensei, Wilkie on Palauda, so at least Drooling Leprechauns have picked up one of their tanks, but Elian just continues his march of dominance, and as does LD Nexus. Sensei falls. Wilkie does get Elian finally in that 2-5-1, falls. Juhu on reload now in the T69. You can see Wilkie, team captain for Drooling Leprechauns, does go down the AMX 3090, and LD Nexus just hungry for blood. He's going 1 versus 1 against Juhu. Rusted does join in with the party, and it's a little bit too much for the star player from Drooling Leprechauns to take as he goes down. And will Vetso manage to find a cheeky shot onto Message? Oh yes, he does. Message getting the better of Vetso. One of the few times we see that happening, as well, he's a 1-shot and he's the final one remaining for Drooling Leprechauns. German break going in, trying to make the shell, but LD Nexus on fire, and he does pick up the last frag for Kazna crew, bringing their scoreline nicely to 4-1. And what went wrong for Drooling Leprechauns?
They left they gave too much time for Kazna to go in very good positions. They lost a lot of HP on their way to their position, their standard positioning on that side. So if you sum all of this up, then you can already see the conclusion that it just went wrong for Julian Leprechauns.
Yeah, they kind of got the peaks early on, and then I think the Charioteer being spotted on the hill was very bad. I think some good progressive spots by the M41 secured that one. And I think once that Charioteer went down, the kind of artillery, the real damage dealer from Julian Leprechauns was out of the game, and they just couldn't keep up with those peaking 251s and the MX-1390. So good play all around from Kazna crew, and they are now on match point. As I said before, they need to be winning this match to actually pick the 3 points up to go to those Season 5 finals. So they're really on their way. They're going to have the second chance at defending here, so technically they should do it. But what does Julian Leprechauns have left in their notebook to try and, you know, make Kazna crew lose a round?
If I would be Julian Leprechauns right now, I would go all in, full light speed ahead, and try my luck. It worked well on the last round on steps, so why not do it again?
I think they need to just be pulling out all the stops, trying an all-in tactic, kind of YOLOing into the situations, take a leaf out of Evil Panda Squad's book, and just making sure that they get the wins here. To be honest, they have nothing to lose, really.
Definitely.
Really nothing to lose. They won't get themselves up a spot. They won't go down a spot. So just getting some more experience and, you know, getting some pride and some kind of integrity left in this league is going to be what Julian Leprechauns is playing for.
Exactly. I have the same opinion as you. But I want to ask you, what do you think about putting the Charioteer up that hill?
Well, I think it would have worked well, but the constant peaks from Kazna crew found it, and 10-second spotting time was enough for them to take it down. I mean, you know, like, obviously the range dictates how long the tank is spotted for, but it's just so hard to stay safe on that hill when you have tanks shooting you from every angle.
Exactly. I personally agree with you, and I think that was their first mistake.
Yeah, their first and last mistake. As we do start to hear the countdown for the next round and possibly the last round, as Kazna crew are on the verge of securing themselves a space, but they still need to make it happen. And will the jitters, will the nerves get the better of them as we do head into our 6th round here, as Julian Leprechauns are fighting for nothing, but at the same time fighting for everything. And it looks like they are going to do what you say and go full in.
Excellent. And let's see if Kazna is going all in. No, they're going on the other side of the railroad. And Julian Leprechauns might be able to surprise them because they're getting all their information and they know what to expect from Kazna.
German Break has to stay unspotted there along that line, otherwise he's going to be in a bad position. And to be honest, I'm liking this move by Julian Leprechauns, but Crix and Wilkie might find themselves in a little bit of trouble as they do head across that railroad, but they get away scot-free. And I think Kazna crew, as long as they push Julian Leprechauns away from that middle area and keep those 251s at bay, they may just be able to get the hill and slowly start making Julian Leprechauns pay for their mistakes. But still, that northern cap might be a problem.
Excellent play by Kazna crew. I can't believe that Julian Leprechauns received so much damage on their way to the cap zone. But now they know what they have to do. They know what they have to cover. They have to kill German Brother very fast. And Jack might be in the best situation to do so.
Ooh, Jack, though, fluffs that shell, misses that shell. German Break will find one, though. So cap on the way, that's 2 tanks in there. The T-37, the MX-1390. I guess the T-37 will rotate out. So how can Kazna crew just stop that cap and make sure that Julian Leprechauns don't steal a cheeky round?
By going through the middle, as they are doing it right now. Look at that, how they are going through the middle exactly for that 251 and then going definitely for the cap.
Yeah, LD Nexus in the middle now, 18 seconds left on the clock. He starts to have to hit that shell. Palauda, though, is going to charge right in the center. LD Nexus being on form this time. Can he continue his reign of dominance? But Palauda onto Wilkie. Wilkie down to a one-shot for Palauda. He will find him. Will be Vetso to go in there, and the moment it's going so well for Kazna crew. Can they finish off this game? Jihu going low. Kirex doing everything he can to try and keep LD Nexus and Vetso at bay, but it's not going to be enough as LD Nexus finds Kirex. Palauda onto Jihu, and Sensei again found by LD Nexus, and this is going so well for Kazna crew. 3 versus 1, message team captain for Julian Leprechauns, fighting to stay alive, fighting to keep the pride for his team, but I don't think it's going to be enough as Elian charges across that road, going to hit the shell on the side, and that's the last tank for Julian Leprechauns falling, and Kazna crew taking the match 5-1.
Amazing play from Kazna crew. They did everything by the book, and it worked amazing for them. Amazing. I think that they now earned their spot in the offline finals.
I agree. They've just progressively got better through the late stage of the season, and I think that 5-1 scoreline does kind of cement that fact in. So, indeed, Kazna crew, congratulations for reaching the Season 5 finals. We'll be seeing you there, and obviously more information on eu.wgleague.net in the near future about those finals. But that's not over for today. We still got one more match, and of course it's going to be WST Gaming versus TCM. Your thoughts on that one?
Well, now that Kazna has won, it's pretty hard for TCM.
My favorite team. No.
I don't know what to say about them, how they feel right now. I'm sure they're watching the stream and they're hoping, they had their fingers crossed like, come on, DRL, you can do it. But now, I'm not sure what I can expect from them. They just might give up.
Yeah, I think TCM Gaming has had enough chances to qualify for these season finals, but looks like they're unfortunately not going to be there. But commiserations to them. But of course, if there's a winner, there's also a loser. Yeah. Kazna crew this time around are the winner. But still, I want to know how you guys did in the vote on the Facebook poll. And Melly, how did it go?
Well, pretty well for a community. 85% for Kazna crew, and people at home were absolutely right about this match. Not so much about the exact ending, since you guys predicted more of a closer end and not a 5-1 stomp. And yes, all you said earlier that TCM might be under a lot of pressure. Well, not might be, they are under a lot of pressure. How do players handle such situation?
I don't know. How does everyone handle pressure? You either crumble or you make it, and that's what separates the top teams from the bottom teams. Simple as that.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And oh, I just had a question, but it's somehow gone. So if you have another one, just tweet me using the hashtag WGLEU if you have any questions to our experts here at the table. And yes. Nothing more to say. The next vote will be up as soon as the first map starts, and we'll be heading to a short break, and I hope to see you back after that very little break.